Hi guys, SanChan Man here. I hope you guys are ready to spend plenty of time with me today because we're gonna be doing the Winter Anime 2017 first viewing. So basically I'm just gonna go through all the anime I've watched in the season so far and let you know which ones you should be watching and which ones you probably shouldn't. It's gonna be based on the first 1 or 2 episodes of each anime depending on the anime. And just as a refresher, I separate into color categories, so red being the lowest, then yellow, then blue, and then green. So, without further ado, why don't we get started? So starting with the red zone, fortunately we only have one anime in the zone, thank goodness. And that's a wonderful anime we like to call Handshakers. Yes, so my roommate and I watched the first 5 minutes. Nope. Yeah, we stopped watching it. I actually initially watched it by myself first and just stopped watching the first episode after like 5 seconds after I saw the animation. So yeah, no, not about that life. So now let's move on to the yellow zone. Now these shows are more like shows that are not great, but also not terrible. You can still watch them and probably enjoy them, although chances are they're not going to be that great. So let's start off with our wonderful first show called Lolly Fanservice The Show. Or if you want to use the official title, Orara Merocho, which that was totally butchered, I'm sorry, but whatever. Yeah. How is this legal? They are 15! Yes, they are at least 15 years old. 15. I think they said that at least 4 times in the first 2 episodes of the show. I've noticed that fan service is getting progressively worse, or depending on your perspective, better. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. I mean, Flip Flappers is pretty bad. Keijo, well that's Keijo, so that already came with the package anyway. At least Flip Flappers had a you know, cool and unique story. I mean, this is just another cute magical girl show, which, you know, I mean, I like magical girl shows for the most part, but I don't know about this one, you know? I have this feeling that I might be watched after watching the show, so maybe not. But anyway, let's move on to the next show. This one is called Fuka, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is basically another take on the romantic slice of life comedy genre about a girl who wants to be a sort of musician and a guy who's like, I don't know what he's doing, and then, you know, apparently there's a third girl that doesn't really get introduced until the 2nd episode. I'm not gonna really spoil anything, but yeah, she's like a pop singer, blah blah blah. Yeah, this show doesn't really have anything to bring to the table. Unfortunately, it got definitely overshadowed by another romantic slice of life comedy that is so much better than this one. So obviously, relatively, it's not that great. Again, we got another boring, nice guy protagonist, like every other fucking romantic slice of life protagonist ever. Let me rephrase that, male protagonist in any romance slice of life anime. I mean, the one thing that I did kind of like about the show is that it did bring, it looks like it might actually have some development, individual development for some of the characters, mainly the female characters, that's outside of their romantic interests, which is kind of cool. But so I probably will keep watching the show, but I don't really expect much from it. But yeah, it's kind of meh, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so now let's go into the blue zone. Now this zone is more of shows that are actually pretty good, very enjoyable, but have the potential to either be really great, like a green show, or could possibly, you know, fall flat and, you know, not be so great. So it could be either or, but they're usually pretty good shows that start off really well. So the first show we're going to talk about in this category is ACCA or ACCA. This show actually seems like a pretty good show. It's one of your sort of classic detective story kind of shows. It's kind of like in between, like a really silly like Scooby-Doo and really dark and serious film noir. It's like in the middle of that. So I'm gonna be honest here, the first episode of the show was by far the least memorable first episode out of any of the shows. So I was like, yeah, I guess it's alright. But the 2nd episode was much better. There was just much more life breathed into the 2nd episode. The characters felt more real, more alive. The relationships are more natural and like you could actually see them better. Also the plot started kicking in, so I think that helped a lot as well. So yeah, I think this show's gonna be pretty good. I really like that neither the audience nor the characters know whether the protagonist is actually a good guy or a bad guy. And so I think that's really great. Again, this show could be great. It could also not be that great. There is potential for it to kind of go flat. but I'm on the optimistic side on this one, so I think it'll be good. So we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited for it now with the whole mystery of the protagonist going in, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Next up, we have a wonderful show called Gabriel Dropout. Now, as you can probably imagine, I watched this show literally because it has my name on it. And I realized that it's named after the angel Gabriel, but whatever, I'm pretty sure it was actually named after me. So I wasn't really expecting much from the show because I actually really just watched it because it had my name on it. And it actually turned out to be pretty good. It's actually really funny and pretty freaking awesome. I mean, yeah, when you take two angels and two devils who just graduated from their respective academies and are sent to Earth to train or something, you get some good comedy, I gotta say. It reminds me a lot of Devil Was a Part-Timer, so if you like Devil Was a Part-Timer, you'll definitely like the show. But also, something that has me a little bit worried, just because, personally, I don't think Devil Was a Part-Timer is that great. You done fucked up now! The humor for Devil Was a Part-Timer got pretty old after like 4 or 5 episodes, so I'm worried that the same thing will happen with this, because this kind of humor can get kind of tiring after a bit. But if this show ends up having some sort of main plot where it can direct a show somewhere, that would be great. Because that was sort of the main problem with Devil Was a Part-Timer. Even though it did end up having like some sort of main plot, it wasn't very good. I hope this show does that. Although we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of doubtful that will happen. But so far I'm still enjoying the show very much. So I think it should be fine. So the third show we have in the blue zone is LD Live. I think I said that right. This is a very interesting show, I gotta say. Yeah, it's pretty weird. It just kind of just plain up weird, not like creepy weird or anything like that. Just kind of odd in general. It's kind of hard to describe it really. But yeah, I actually kind of really enjoy it. And like the good thing I like about it is that the directing and the style of it embraces its weirdness and it's confident in its weirdness, and so I like that a lot. I appreciate it. It's just, I don't know, it's just weird, but it's good. It's a good kind of weird, I guess, so that's the best way I can describe it. If you want to really find out, you can go find out for yourself and see what you guys think. But I think it's going to be a very good show. Now for our final show in the mix for the blue zone is a very good anime called Little Witch Academia. Now, before you kill me, but Gabriel, Little Witch Academia is the best. Little Witch Academia is love. Little Witch Academia's life! Okay guys, get rid of your trigger boner for just a second and let me explain. I actually really love the Little Witch Academia films. They're great. I love them. They're awesome. They're great short films, and I think it's really good that people are making stuff like that these days. But that's the reason why I'm not that excited about the show necessarily, because I thought that was enough. I think that was honestly sufficient for what we needed for Little Witch Academia. I don't think it was necessary to add more to it. Of course, I'm always willing to give it a shot, and so I did. And I think what the show really needs to do is just prove that it has a reason to exist, in the sense that it can add something more to the story world that hasn't been seen in any of the short films. Like, you know, more character development, you know, maybe a main villain or something, or some sort of main plot line. Just something to add to the story world that it really needed. That's all I needed the show to do. And it's getting there, but it's not necessarily there yet. Quality-wise, it's still great. So if you really love Little Witch Academia, I'm pretty sure you'll love this show. Or at least like it. If you want more details of what I actually really think about the show, then I recommend you go watch my separate video on Little Witch Academia on the first 2 episodes. The link is in the description below, so go check that out after watching this video, of course.